everybody. My name is Leah Schlabach, and I've had the opportunity to attend Eagle's Nest since I was in 4th grade. And by the time you see this, actually, I will be on my way to school, so you probably won't be seeing me any longer for a little while at least. And I have had such an opportunity to lead worship and be a part of worshiping with you guys for the past several years, and I really have appreciated that opportunity. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what worshiping means to me. I think it can be a pause in any day where you take the focus off of yourself and you completely submit to Jesus and you just recognize how awesome he is. I also love the Psalms because I think David is such a model after to which we should try to also be. I love how in the Psalms he talks about rejoicing and he laments and he is sad and he talks about real stuff, and then he comes back and just rejoices and praises our Father for who he is. And I think that's exactly what a great relationship with Jesus is, and also such a beautiful picture of what worship is. I think that God's character is so unchanging that it's so steadfast even when we have so much else going on in the world. And something I've learned through leading worship and through worshiping is that God's grace and thanking him for his character leaves all this space for God to move. And because the focus is no longer inward and it's upward, it gives God this opportunity to use you as his vessel. And sometimes I'm not even aware of the weight that I'm carrying when I'm leading worship or worshiping, that sometimes when I feel like I'm having a bad day or my voice had a crack or something and I'm worrying about the technical stuff, someone else can be moved by the fact that we were both united in spirit and both of us together were recognizing God and who he is and glorifying him and his power. I think a huge part of worship is humility and being humbled and not worrying about what you sound like necessarily, because worship can come in any form. It could be you swaying in the pew, it could be dancing, it could be yelling, shouting, doing whatever you do, or just that heart, a servant's heart is what God is looking for in worship. I think another thing that I've learned is that my voice can go a lot further when I'm singing for Jesus. Worship is such a lifestyle, and I think it is lived out through service. No matter where you can serve in your life, that's a form of worship towards Jesus. God uses the willingness of any people, any church, any person, any heart that is willing to serve and to recognize him as your Father and to continue to work towards glorifying him in your everyday life. Fear is not welcome where the power of God is. It also says in Hebrews 4:16, let us come boldly before the throne of Christ, that we should not be afraid of if people hate us, because guess what? People hated Jesus too. And as it says in James 1:22, that we are to be doers of the word. And so you can hear what other people say and what the pastor tells you to do, and what you read in your Bible even. But if you hear something and you don't act on it, then what are we really doing in God's kingdom? And so my encouragement to you is to do good and do service and to worship, because that is the best way to glorify your Father in heaven. Thank you.
His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, your family, and your children and their children and their children. His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, your family, your children and their children and their children. May his favor